Welcome. This is a recording of a very informal social media lesson to 4 friends who run their own small businesses, and it might be useful to you. I'm an artist and social media is really just a hobby and part of my business practice. I've learned all this by stumbling through, and you'll see that I do a lot of demos and also use some very helpful pointers and advice from my friends. We will be covering Canva, Instagram, video editing on a phone, uploading to YouTube, sharing links. We'll be looking at sharing links to content on WhatsApp groups or chat or behind buttons or in hyperlinks or Facebook posts and all the different ways that you can share content. And I touch on Mailchimp in one of the demos as well. It's just a friendly, relaxed demo, and you can stop it and start it and take in as much or as little as you want. And I hope you find it useful.
I don't mind saying I'm slightly worried by it, Gail. You know what a technophobe I am.
Really sorry, I didn't mean to scare you with that stuff.
No, it's so kind of you to do it. It just makes me realise how much I need it.
And as always, I think these things sound much worse than they are. But also, it's one of those you can't expect it to all go in and all make sense immediately. It is one of those like, hi Emily, one of the, it just kind of practice it, and the more you do it, the more it makes. I'm not as prepared as I'd like to be, so hopefully it'll be useful. Right. So I have shared on the chat a link to the agenda, which is loose, but it would be quite nice even at some skimming level to try and get through it, because no one bit is more important than the next. I wanted to talk about first about creating content, because obviously that's where it starts, and also that you don't always have to create content from scratch, but there are some things that you can do to reuse content, and there's a lot of free content out there that you can then that's like you don't need a license to doctor. So we'll talk a little bit about making content, a little bit about kind of organizing and storing your content, and a bit about sharing your content. That's basically where I was going to go with it. We can only really sort of skim the different apps that we'll be looking at. But so that's why I put at the beginning on the agenda, getting help. So everything I know, I've basically learned by trawling through YouTube videos, following Instagram influencers, trying things and looking on the help. So all apps have got a help with them. Some of them are much better than others, and so I would really encourage you to just see this as it's a lifelong journey. Everyone's at different stages with different apps. We all use different ones. If you find, so I'm showing you one way of doing it. There are countless other ways, so you might find other ways that you want to do. So I'm just showing you some relatively straightforward and relatively industry standard things. But I would really encourage you to look about, copy what other people do, spend a bit of time looking at accounts that you like on whatever platform you're on, see what they're doing. And most people are really friendly and helpful about how they do things. So we're just delighted to share that. Okay, so the first one to show you is Canva. So I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, so this is Canva. And this is an app where you can create all sorts of designs for all sorts of things. And I'm going to do one now, as I think the best way to show you is just to do a demo. So you can keep your designs on here and use them as templates. So for example, I've got one here shared from another account that I use, where when I was doing, I don't know, some people might have seen, I was doing some live streaming and I was setting up backgrounds. So I set up, these are just backgrounds or covers for my YouTube videos. So that's, Canva is absolutely brilliant for making anything where you need, can you see my cursor? Don't know if you can.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So and you can embed all sorts of things. So you can upload pictures, logos, all kinds of stuff. You can put videos in with Canva. I don't know how you found it, Emilie. I've not found Canva great for more than the...
It doesn't have great backgrounds for it, but I have sometimes used on stories, and it does download quite well on my phone, and then then it goes in. But I mean, that's possibly the only videos I've ever posted on Instagram are Canva videos.
So based on the fact that the easiest way to explain is to show, in this case, I'll just do an example now. So something the video editing app that I'm going to show you, and YouTube and other things, generally work pretty well on a mobile. And Canva is okay on a mobile, but I would say it's much better on a PC. So if you can use it on your PC, certainly when you're first getting the hang of it. I do use it on my mobile, and what you can do is you can make things like posters and posts to go on Facebook or Instagram, like we're going to do now. You can make them on the PC and then go on to it on the app on your mobile phone, and then embellish it from your phone, if that makes sense. But I'm really explaining why I'm not showing you this one from the mobile. Is actually, I think Canva's much better when you use it on your desktop. So here we are. You have there's a thing at the top, create a design. So if I click on that, you can see the let's see if I can move those out of the way. So you can see all the different sorts of designs they do, and within that they've got a mountain of templates. So you can create a design that's any dimension that you might want, but what I'm going to do is just type in Instagram, and then it will show me all the different sorts of templates that they've got for Instagram. And if I was to type in YouTube, so they've got templates here. So YouTube channel art, that is that's like the top banner for a YouTube channel. So if I go onto my YouTube channel, let's go onto the top, your channel.
While you're accessing that, Gail, while you're accessing that, can I ask a quick question? So when they've got a different set of templates for Instagram, a different set of templates for YouTube, is that because they are the right physical dimensions to fit? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So here you can see this is so I've got a banner image for my YouTube video. For my YouTube channel, and you can see here, this is something to consider when you're making, if you're creating a banner for your Facebook page, you've got that bit at the top, and for YouTube. So this is only really relevant if you're using your YouTube channel as a platform. You're inviting people to go on there and discover you on YouTube. You can just use YouTube, and this is what we'll be doing really, is you can just use it as a library. You don't need to use it as a, as a sort of outward facing thing like Facebook or Instagram. You can just use it as a place to store your videos that you can share from. But I'm just as an example. So this is the, I try not to start that video again. It automatically starts. Hang on. Right, so it's really this bit here, and as you can see, it's very wide, but it also needs to be other formats if it's viewed on a mobile phone or something like that. So if we go back to Canva, so that's what YouTube channel art is. YouTube thumbnails, those are like, when you share your videos, what goes on the top. So and they've got it for all sorts of things. So I put Facebook in. Facebook post, Facebook ads, Facebook story, so that'll be like a vertical format. So it really does help in Canva in giving you a head start with the, as Angela said, the dimensions. So what I'm going to do is...
Sorry, can I just ask a little question?
Of course, yeah, just barging, yeah.
Thank you. Am I assuming that if you say you're doing a Facebook post, you'd have to recreate it differently to do an Instagram, and maybe again to do something else? You can't. Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's very good. That's very good to be thinking that way, Jane. There's a lot. Once you start using it across different platforms, and once you start making posts, it will become much more straightforward to identify how you can reuse things, and reusing things is a really great way to be thinking. So what's really good to do is to try and create content that you can reuse across different platforms, and you can connect your Instagram and Facebook accounts so that if you're posting on Instagram, it'll automatically post on Facebook unless you stop it. So you can start to think that way. And there are, if you have a look at Facebook Business Manager, I won't go into that now, but there is a sort of like a kind of administrator's version of Facebook that you can use, and from there you can post and you can reuse your posts to Facebook and Instagram, and you can put slightly different captions and edit it slightly differently through there. But you can also link your Instagram account to Facebook. So if you get to the stage where you're perhaps like me, I generally post first on Instagram. That's my first sort of out there platform. But I've got it so that when I make a post, it invites me to also share it to my Facebook page. Rather trickily, they've got different, they're really, they were designed as separate entities, and now they're kind of more together. But each platform, like YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, and you've probably heard of TikTok. I'm sure Angela has heard of TikTok with your internet safety hat on. But they all have different formats, and it's really annoying. But it's just a historical thing. But also they're just kind of designed for different sorts of consumption, and we will talk about that a bit. But you're absolutely right, Jane. It is something to really think about. So I'm going to go to Instagram, and I'm going to do a particular sort of post called a carousel post. And the reason I wanted to show you this was because it's an example of a really straightforward but very engaging post, because what it is it's just a excuse me, it's just a set of screens that someone swipes through. So they're all square. And it encourages people when they see your post, it invites them. It's like 4 top tips for, getting more bendy, or 4 top tips for, organising your studio. So that it encourages people to engage with your content, which is a really important objective to have. So whilst on the one hand, you've got this kind of sense of all the considerations about privacy and safety, on the other sense, you've got this competing desire to have your content seen and to engage the right sort of people with your content. So the reason why carousel posts have been so popular is that basically they tempt people to go into your post and sweep through a series of screens. So that's called a carousel post. And I don't think you can do carousel posts particularly on Facebook, but you can share them as a video. So you could take, once by the end of today, hopefully you'll be able to do this, you could take your 4 posts and decide, I want each one to show for 5 seconds on a video, and put some music in the background. And you can very easily edit them on your phone and then post that to Facebook. But on Instagram, a carousel post is a really good engagement thing. And you'll see some Instagrammers kind of, I don't know if you've seen them tile their content. So it looks like a checkerboard, and maybe every other post might be a carousel, or might be you know, an inspirational quote or something like that. And that's a really good way for creating content without stressing about too much. You know, if you've got that, then you've got half your content already kind of vaguely mapped out. So in Canva, they provide all sorts of templates. So here are the templates, and you'll see they've got this crown on them and pro. I expect, Emilie, have you got a pro account? Yeah, I don't know if anyone else got. I'm just about surviving without a pro account, and I do use it a lot, so I would say you probably don't need it, but some of them don't. So there's one which doesn't have that crown, and it's the same for all sorts of things. So they do elements that you can drag in, which I'll show you in a minute. And again, some of those have got, some of them are free and some of them have got crowns on them. So we'll just take a free one. So here we go. 4 tips to improve. Let's try someone with it. So it's telling me how many slides are in them. There's 5. I'm just looking for a 10. I'm looking for a smaller one.
Gail, do you use these mainly on Instagram with this one?
Carousels?
Yeah.
I would say so. Yeah. Yes. I think on Facebook ads you can.
I don't use Facebook at all, actually.
No. Yeah. I'm not. I haven't got very positive experience of Facebook ads. That's not to say some people don't, but okay. Well, let's just use. This is nice, right? So I'm going to drag that in.
Oh, good. I need that one.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Now. That hasn't. Okay. Apply all 5 pages. Right. So 3 tips. So I don't know if this is making sense, but basically I've adopted this template. And you don't have to, you can just do it from scratch. So you can create a new design and put in your own dimensions. But if you use a template, obviously you get a lot of stuff for free and you can take it out. So I'm just going to delete that leaf like that. It's very easy. You can change the text. You can change the font. So ours is probably going to look a bit of a mess, just in the case of showing you things. Right, social. Let's go in here. So I've just highlighted that. I'm just typing something in.
Is it possible to change the colour as well?
Yes, yep. So if I go to that, I can change the colour. I can, and then it recognises what you've already got. So it should, there. So now it knows I'm using this colour. It's very helpful. And if I show you the uploads, I think, oh, okay, I uploaded a couple of photos. So to upload, you can create a sort of repository of useful images and things that you can use on all your Canva things. So I have a logo here, so that's really handy to plug in wherever I want it. And you can duplicate things. So you can duplicate individual objects like the logo, or so I can do that. But you can also, so if I do that, it creates another one. Then I can change that one and drag it down. Does that make? Please stop me if I'm going too fast. I don't expect you to understand all the nuances, but is this too fast? Too slow?
It's good to see it. I don't think I'd remember it, but it's good to know what it's capable of. And then I guess we go around and play. So that's useful.
I think exactly. Canva is one of the most, I mean, I've used a lot of design programs in my time, and Canva is, it's a really simple program. It's a really accessible program to use. So even if it looks confusing, what Gail's showing now, you will actually find it quite natural to use when you'll start playing with it.
So with your curve, talking about really basic, I can see you're moving things. You literally just go to the box you want to adjust, click on it, and then you can. Yes. And then it just gives you options, does it? Yeah. Yes. I think I've tried before and I've got very messed up. It started moving things, and I just need to play more with it, I think.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, so if I delete everything off this page, I'm just clicking on things and deleting them. And you'll find, again, in Canva, but also on YouTube, you'll find loads of tutorials. So you could just type in on YouTube how to add a photo in Canva, and you'll probably come across loads of videos of people showing demos of how to do that. So if I took, I've on this slide, so these are all, each one of these is a page. So I've got here, if I swipe down, I'm going to delete this page because that's just too many. So I've got now 4 pages. They're all square, so they're all of the right size to post on Instagram. And I can change each one. I'm going to drag, so somehow that number 3 has got to the top. So I'm going to use this clicker to move it down so it's in page 3. So I've got page 1, page 2, page 3, and then I've got a blank page here. So on the blank page, I'm going to just drag a photograph on there like that. So this is an example of not using the template, but just to show you that you can have photos, you can have they've got these things called elements. So I could look for an element of, I don't know, yoga. So they've got a load of things that you can drag in. And again, you can see some of them have got this pro sign, which means you can't use them without a license. But quite a lot of them are free, including here's a video. You can see if they've got this time there, 9 seconds. But if I just take like that, I can just drag that.
Hi, Gail, sorry. If it says pro, that means it's licensed and you need to, right, okay, I didn't realise that.
You have to have a paid account. So for all sorts of things, you've got a basic account and a paid account.
Yeah. And that
so here's one, and this is just what they call an element. So it's not a photo, it's a kind of semi, it's like, yeah, it's just like a thing. But you can change, so I could change the color, say, like that. And it's quite nice as well to use some very useful elements are some of their things like square backgrounds. So if I just type in square, here's a blank square background. Oh, I just double clicked and it gave me one, but you can put that behind things. So they've got a concept of layering. If I click on this one here and I can put the position backwards and sorry, that's not really showing. So this one, see, I'm highlighting the 3. If I send it backwards there, you can see it's behind that box. So I've got that kind of thing. So say you wanted to layer things, you can do that. So you could have like a frame element. And so that's what they've done here with this leaf. They've just put it in front of what's behind. So all this, I wouldn't worry about particularly how to do it. If you come away and you just have a sense of what Canva is and what it could potentially do, that is that would be a great piece of progress. And just then to go in and try it. And the best way to learn is just to make an account. So you log into canva.com. And you can actually go in, I tend to go in with my Google account. So rather than creating an account and a password, you can just, like with Facebook and other things, you can just log in with your Google account if that's how you like to do things. So having done that, you can then download these pages. So to do that, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go onto the as though I'm going on a mobile phone. So you can see here that I'm suggesting that on your mobile phone, one thing you might like to download a few things, a few apps, which you can then use to create content on the go. And the one, so you can see that I've downloaded Canva. In other words, this is the app. So when you've got programs like Canva and YouTube and Instagram, you can run them as I was showing you just then on the desktop through a browser, or you can run them through an app. And that's when you download the app, typically from the Play Store or the Apple Store. So I would suggest you might like to download Canva onto your phone. And I would, if you don't already have one, I would also download a video editor onto your phone if you decide you want to do some of the stuff that we're talking about today. So I'm going to go into, so on this pretend mobile phone that I'm showing you, I've got Instagram, Canva, and one called YouCut that I'll show you later. Okay, so I'm going to open up Canva. I hope this works. Right, go to my home screen. Hopefully, yes. So I think this is the one we've just done. Please let this work. Come on, come on. Yes, right, okay. So this is on a mobile phone running Canva as an app. So instead of at your computer, which was the one I showed you before, you're now on your phone, and you've got here your app, and you can see there are the 4 slides that we created. So you can edit them in here. And in fact, to save time, I'm just going to delete that one I'm just going to do, let me just do even 2. I just want to save our time. Okay, so this could be all sorts of things. This could be a horizontal cover for a YouTube video. It could be something, we'll talk a little bit later about stories. So it could just be a vertical piece of content that you could share as a story on Instagram or as a story on Facebook. Could be all sorts of things, but in this case we're doing a carousel post, so a swipey post with 2 screens, which we're going to upload onto Instagram if it works. So I am going to, let me see, I think this is the download button. Right. How would you like to publish? Excuse me 1 second. Okay, so I don't tend to post directly to social media from Canva. I think it's, and this is partly about what Jane was saying about sharing onto different platforms as well. So personally, I prefer to get it down onto my device, either my PC or my phone, get the slides down, and then I can share them. I can control sharing them. So if you have several pages like we do, and you choose, like I did, to download the design onto your device, then it will offer you some options, and it will offer you to download your content in different formats. So depending on whether you've made a video or photos, you might want to choose different ones of these, but I almost always use a PNG file for images, and if it's got anything moving in it, then an MP4. But the thing to watch out for is that you also then potentially have more than one page, and you can either choose to download them all, or you can take that off and download them one at a time. If you download more than one page at a time, it will put it in a zip file, and then you have to unzip it, which is just another thing to think about. So I quite often, especially if I'm in a hurry and I've only got like 3 pages, I just download them individually as it's less work. So I'm just going to do that now. So I'm taking the page 1, which is that one there, and so I've now chosen that I want it as a PNG, and then I'm going to press download. So that's another thing sometimes I forget. So you think you've chosen, so I'm not going to share it just yet. I'm going to take the second one now and download that. Save as PNG. I'm just going to do page 2, download. So hopefully now on my phone, I have those 2 pictures from Canva. Any questions before I try and upload it to Instagram? How lost are we on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'm okay.
Yeah, I think I'm okay. I'm going to be really stupid and say I'm not really sure. When you download it to phone, where would it be? Where would you find it on your phone?
You would find it in your gallery somewhere on your phone.
Or like on your pictures type thing.
Yeah, your photos. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, thank you.
And it might put them into an album, so it would probably put them into a Canva album.
Interestingly, it doesn't actually do that on mine. It goes straight to photos.
Right, that's just your settings, I think, on your Canva.
Yeah, so just to be aware, it might just differ a little bit.
Yes, yeah.
And if you're doing a video, it will save it as a video as well. So it does do it on that format.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So next, I'm going to take you to Instagram. So here we are. You've got. Yes. Hi.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That's a quick question. So at the very beginning of the Canva session, you said we can download it to do it, create it on the laptop before transferring it to the phone, where you can embellish it. When you said embellish it, what were you referring to then? What type of things were you meaning?
What I was thinking was, so here we are on Canva. So this is me running Canva on my phone. And I might have some photos just on my phone that I might want to add.
Right, okay.
Okay, so let's say I want to... so I'm in here.
As opposed to the photos that you've got by default in...
Yes.
Canva. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I just wondered what you meant.
Let me see. So if I'm on here's one page, that's a really good point, Angela, because it would be good to show you, because you can make them from scratch on your phone. It's just it can be some of these things, you know, sometimes you think it's yourself and actually they're just a bit glitchy. So when I was trying this out yesterday, I tried to do a video in Canva and it flipped it, and it was like the print was back to front on my phone. It can be just your phone or the thing itself. So if I click the add button here, then I can add in, let's do an upload. So here you can see I'm looking again, but from my phone, at the library of uploaded stuff that I'd uploaded. And I can actually upload media now. So you can do this whether you're running it on your phone or on your so this is like the looking at your gallery. It will guess you want to look at images from your phone. So I'm just showing you now, these are some things that were in my phone. That's no use. Okay, so so here's a picture. There's a nice picture of me and my cat. So it's now uploading that into the library in Canva. You can see there. So now it's in, and I can choose that and add it. Now I'm adding it to my slide.
Right, okay.
So that's something you might do from your phone. And then I could then download this again. So let's download this one again, now that it's got the photo in it, and it automatically saves. So page 1, done. And then you have to remember to press download as well.
Right, sure. And so in that case, you would have 2 versions of page 1, the original one you downloaded and this new one. Okay, great.
Yes,
okay,
have a gold star. Okay, so now, and so what I'm doing now, you could also do in Facebook. So I'm sure you all are familiar with posting on Facebook. So I've basically now got those things in my on my gallery somewhere on my phone. So I will now add a post. So this is my, okay, so I might just digress for a second and just talk for a minute about Instagram presentation. And really, I would recommend you look at Emilie's Instagram, because that is a masterpiece. Mine really looks quite messy. So hopefully you will share hers. So, but just to talk you through a few characteristics of Instagram for people who are more familiar with Facebook. So you have your profile, and you can be like a business account or a private account. So, and within that, even if you're a public page business account, you can still block people, you can still set quite a lot of privacy settings, you can stop comments on your post if you want to, but as I mentioned before, it's always a trade-off about being open and encouraging engagement, and being private and putting off trolls. And generally the journey is you start off very cautious, and then you realize how hard it is to get people to actually look at your content, and you become more and more open as time goes on. And then you get a nasty comment and you think, oh, I'm not really sure. And then it's like walking into a pub or a nightclub. You get creeps and you get nice people, and you just learn to navigate your way through that. So here, can you see my cursor all right? Yeah, okay. So you've basically got these different sections, and Instagram will change them periodically. So but this is what's called the grid. So at the moment, I've got this one chosen, and it's showing my grid. So these are my posts. And actually, I haven't got any carousel posts, but we will, yeah. But you can see, I'll show you, let me show you. This is someone I really recommend you follow, Lou, Spark Social. Here we go. So you can see she's got a really good example of some economical posts which take very little effort, and then some which take a lot more. And so let's see, I think this is a carousel post. So she probably made this in Canva or something like that. And you can see here the number of slides. So that indicator there tells you it's a carousel post, or Instagram has noticed. This is a reel. So this is a video content that she's posted. And she does, we'll talk a little bit about time lapses and things like that. They're really good. So she's been going into stop motion, and there's some really, so that's a time lapse. They're really easy to film. Okay, so let's look at hers, because it's a really good example. So you can, if you follow people like Lou, she gives loads of advice on how to, well, like you can see, how to stand out, how to do your profile, how to get the right stuff in here. And you can set up these things here, which are called highlights, which I won't go into now, but they're like a library of your past stories. So here's her, she's decided to have a highlight of Insta tips, which is just things she's posted in the past, which she's curated to show people. Anyway, we digress. So I really recommend Spark Social. Right, let's go back on here. So now we're going to do a post. So these ones are videos here. These are what's called reels, which are short format videos. These are longer format videos. These are guides, which for some people are really useful. So I have actually got some guides, I think. Here we go. So it's a way of creating almost like a catalogue that you can put posts and other information in, and you can keep them up to date. So when you do a good post with a new yoga pose or something in it, you can add it to your guide. But as with all the stuff we're going to be doing, like videos and guides and, you know, all that sort of thing, you make it, and then you have to then push it out to people. So that's where you get into sharing it onto other things. So sharing it onto Facebook, sharing it in your WhatsApp groups, sharing it on your stories periodically. So and so I'll show you now, actually, that would be a good thing to do. So here it is. This is me in one of my guides that I've made, and this is a principle to use all over the place. And I can add the guide to my story. So what that's doing is just sharing. So it just means people, for the next 24 hours, if anyone looks at my profile, they will see this on my story at the top. So I'm not going to share it now because this is my live account. But these sort of things, once you've created some of that content, like those posts and guides and videos, wherever you are, it's reusable. So you can then reshare it. You can periodically, you know, if you've got a Christmassy video, you can wheel it out next Christmas. Or, you know, you can try and think when you're making content about making content that you can then share and reshare rather than reinventing the wheel all the time. Okay, let's quickly make this post and move on. Right, so I've done, sorry.
While you're making the post, when you said I'm going to move this guide, what did you mean by what's a guide? Is that
it's a type of Instagram object which many people don't really know about.
Right, okay.
I found about it from Lou on Spark Social. So it's here, and you can just add, if you just go on to that tab there where there's that little book picture, and click add, it'll take you through making them.
Right, okay, thank you.
And you can, or just look on mine and see examples of what you can do, but it's very straightforward. And you can basically it's like making a brochure with text and your own posts, and you can put other people's posts in there as well. And then it's saved on your Instagram, but you can share that guide. So when you've made content, try and look for opportunities to share it. So if I do copy link, basically now I could, so like here we are in our meeting. Let's go in, I'm just gonna see if I can go in the chat. Right, here we are. So I'm on the chat now, and I cut and pasted. So I've literally cut and pasted from Instagram there, from that share link, and you can do this with posts, you can do this with Facebook posts, you can do this with YouTube videos, anything. And this here is, I've just pressed paste into the chat. And you can see this is what's called a URL. And it's basically just an address of a place on the internet. So that is, if you look at it, it's got HTTPS, so that's just saying it's code. The S is security, but it's pretty standard now. Then it's got www.instagram.com. So that is, so you can see it's the location of the website where Instagram is. Ultimately, Instagram is like a website, a repository where lots of people put stuff. So it's instagram.com/ and there's my profile, Gail Reid Artist /guide, because it's a guide that I've shared, but it could be a post or it could be a video, you know, it could be all sorts of things. And then the guide identity. So if I post that anywhere, so if I shared that in a WhatsApp group or on an email or onto a Facebook page, anyone who can go to Instagram, I think actually whether or not they have an Instagram account, I think you can kind of go in as a guest, but probably most people who are looking at your content have got some sort of an Instagram account. But if you were doing this from Facebook, it would take them to that guide. Right, so it's literally taken me from the chat and jumped onto here. So I'm in a browser, but it's sharing that content. Don't know if that's so for another example is you could send out a new, say you had a guide on Instagram or a video that you posted on YouTube or any content like that. You could share the link in, say, a newsletter. So you could write a newsletter with a button in it, and on the button, when they press the button, you put that URL, and then when someone opens your newsletter and presses the button, it will take them to your content, which means your content is in the one place. And instead of copying your content into your newsletter and copying it into things, you're just sharing links to it.
That sounds really useful, Gail. I'm going to be really, really dim. I'm sorry if no one else knows this. How do you put it into a button? I've seen buttons. I know what they are. I don't know how you'd actually do that. If that's remedial, then ignore me.
I can. Let me
Sorry,
see, yeah.
I can't add URLs yet because I thought you had to have a certain amount of followers to add the URLs.
You can't add a URL?
Into, like, let's say you want to put it on stories and put your URL to your Pinterest account and things like that. I can't add them yet. When I researched on the website, on the internet, they just said you need to have a certain amount of followers to get the URL.
Hi guys, right, this is me in the future. I've just been doing editing and realised that I didn't answer the question that Emilie was asking. I answered a different imagined question. So I'm just going to show you now the answer to what I think Emilie was actually asking. So this is my phone, pretend phone here, and I'm in Instagram, and I think what Emilie was asking is about adding a link to a story to, say, her Pinterest account. So if you go up here to this plus sign and say you want to add a new story, so this is on Instagram, and I'm going to pick a photo, so there's a photo, and say I wanted on here to include a link to my Pinterest account. There used to be a limit. You needed to have 10,000 followers in order to put links on your stories, but that has gone. So down here, hopefully you can see there's a link sticker, and here I could put, so I wanted to put my Pinterest account, com/Gail Reid artist. Okay, done. Right, now that will now take somebody, when they're looking at my story, onto my Pinterest account, and that's a relatively new feature on Instagram. So it used to be that you had to have 10,000 followers in order to do that, but now you can do that, and it's really brilliant. So that link there is a URL. So you can share a link to your website, to your Pinterest, you could share a link to a YouTube video. At the end of the day, all those links is a URL. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is still show you the answer to the question that I imagined Emilie was asking, because I clearly didn't answer properly, and also Angela's wonderful prompt on how to put content behind a button. Okay, so thank you. Back to our Zoom call. So when you start, say, a YouTube channel, it gives you a URL which has got lots of numbers and letters in it and isn't very nice. And then when you get a certain number of followers, it lets you have your own, define your own URL. So if I started a new channel, my channel name might be Gail's channel, but the actual address would be 57E27, like youtube.com/57E27. And then once you've got enough followers, you can call it Gail Reid, as long as no one else has got that. So this is where the concept that any content that you make and share anywhere is actually, if you think about it in real terms, it is just data that's on the place where you shared it. So if you upload your video to YouTube, let me show you. It'll make much more sense if I show you. Okay, let's go just to my YouTube channel.
Can I just chip in while you're doing that?
Of course, yes, yeah.
So Jane, is it?
Jane, yes, Jane.
So in terms of creating a button, it doesn't actually necessarily need to be an actual button. One of the other ways that you can get around it is by, for example, if you were using Word, you could write some text, and the text might say, I don't know, downward dog pose. You highlight the words downward dog pose and then right click on it. And then in that list of options is link and edit link. And if you click on edit link, it will allow you to, it will automatically in that new window say the words that you've highlighted, which are in the example that I did in downward dog pose. And then at the bottom of that window, it will invite you to
Angela, shall I demo that? I can just demo that. Okay, so let's do it, say, in an email. So you can even do this in an email.
Sorry, it's really basic for everyone else.
No.
Sorry.
No, I'm sure it's... so here we are. Can you see I'm editing an email here? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So thank you, Angela. That was a very good idea. So here we are. I'm going to put some here is my new video. Okay, so I've put some, this is just text, and you can do this in a in a newsletter, on a website, or in WhatsApp. Actually, I think WhatsApp, you just type the URL and it knows it's a link. So what I'm going to do then is I will change this word here from being just text to being a link. So let's go. So if we now go to YouTube, and I can choose any video. So I'm going to go to my favorite YouTube channel here, Jane McYoga. There we are, free sample lesson. So here's an uploaded video that I want to share. Okay.
Very kind of you.
Yeah. So I can press share. And if I move you out of the way, there is the URL of that video. So all that video is just the pictures and the music and the sound all stored as a blob of data, and this is the location of the blob of data. So you can see again, it's got YouTube. So rather than Instagram, this has been uploaded to YouTube, and then it's got this ID. So this is a URL. So if I copy that like that, and then I go back to my email here. Okay, so I've got it in my clipboard. I've copied that onto my clipboard. So I'm going to highlight that word there. And then down here is a link, insert link button.
Perfect.
Okay, and it's assuming text to display. It's assuming I want it to say here. But what I might say is that click here instead. Okay, to which URL should this refer? So I'm going to paste, Control V. I'm just pasting that URL in. Okay. And so now you can send this as an email. So if somebody then clicks on that, they get the opportunity. So it invites them to go to the location. So if I click on that now, as though I've opened the email, it will just take me to the video. Who wants me to show a button? It would take 5 minutes. Hands up if you want to see a button. Anyone else? Yeah, Angela, Ginny. Jane, do you want to see a button, or you?
Great, thank you.
Okay, Emilie, sorry, if you want to get a cup of tea, I'm just going to demo putting a button in something. I'll do it on a, do you have any preference? I could do it on a website or on a Mailchimp or something.
On Mailchimp, perhaps?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's create a new email. Okay, so this is where you create your emails. I won't go into this, but what I will do is design the email. This is called Mailchimp. So this is a really useful app for people who do newsletters. And again, a newsletter ultimately is just a URL. So you can share, you can view newsletters on browsers, you can send them in emails, but ultimately they are just a URL and you can share them all over the place. So you could do a newsletter, cut and paste the URL and share it in a WhatsApp group or an email or on Facebook. So if I just go into design email on here, and I will just put a button in so you can see how, and this basic pattern is, I want to do a basic, I have no idea. Layouts, themes, go to your own. How do I do a blank one? Okay, so it's just like Canva in terms of it's got loads of templates, and then you can add things in. So I'm going to go over here and take a button, drag it in there. Okay, so this is a button. It's guessed it wants to say buy now. Okay, it's the same principle as with a link. So you've got the text that people see. So here's maybe click to view the yoga moves, and the link to, so it's saying it can link it to an email address or other things, but we're linking it to a URL, which is a sort of web address. And then I'm just going to paste in here. There's that YouTube URL that's still on my clipboard from the video, and just a reminder that URL, that could be the URL of an Instagram guide. It could be a URL of a Facebook post. It could be a URL of a newsletter. It could be just another website. So if you found a website and you want to share someone else's content, so say you found a really useful resource and you're being helpful to your followers, you could take the URL of that web thing straight out of the browser. So here you can see this is a URL up here. So you can just cut and paste them straight out of the browser to share them. So I'm putting that in there. Like that. So now if I go into preview, enter preview mode, hopefully this will work. Okay, so now what it's showing is I'm not in the building your newsletter interface. I'm in the, like, let's pretend I've opened the email. So this is how you check what your emails look like before you press go. And let's see what happens when I press the buy now button. Nothing.
I'm not sure that it saved it, Gail, because
didn't it? Oh,
because you changed the text, didn't you, to click here?
All right, let me come out of preview mode. Web address.
Yeah.
At the very bottom it says save and close. Did you do that?
Oh, thanks, okay. Angela.
Nice to see we're on the same page, Angela.
Just as well one of us is awake. All right, enter preview mode. There, click to see yoga moves, and I click, and it takes me to the video. So that principle of putting a URL in a link, whether the link is a button or text or anything like that, allows you to reshare your content all over the place. And I use that on your website, Jane. So you use that, and you can share them into messages. You can share them onto WhatsApp as well.
Thank you. That's useful. Yeah, That's good to know how you do it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I never actually made that carousel post. Let me just quickly go to share screen. Back in here. Right. So here I am on my mobile phone in Instagram. On my account. No, not on there. That's my stories. So I'll go back onto my grid and then to add a post. So a bit like Facebook, add, and then these are the different sorts of posts that you can add. There we are. Now it's already knowing that it's offering me my camera roll basically. So I can then click select multiple. 1, 2, oh no, we're just going to do 2, aren't we? We'll do those. So I just click off that one. Okay, so now we've got those 2, we've got that one and that one. And I'll press this arrow here. So this is if you're on your phone and you're doing a post. So you can swipe through what you've got and you can edit them. It looks a little bit different in a phone, but you can put filters on them, you can crop them and stuff like that. It's quite, on your phone, there's some quite nice editing things where you can do things like bump up the brightness, adjust the contrast. Everyone has that, you can put themes on. So if I add gingham or moon, you can see it sometimes it's quite good if you've got very different looking items in your post. It can give them a bit more of a common look, but generally I don't put filters on in Instagram. But so you can change the order, so you can drag them, so I can make that one come up first. The first one, if you see the leftmost one on the arrangement, is the one that will pop up first in the, sorry, it's not letting me move it. Anyway, okay. The leftmost one is the one that will pop up first on your grid. So it's like the one it uses as a cover. So when you're happy, you can, and so you can add more in like that. I could choose to add another one and tick that. So now I've got 3 in my carousel. Three pictures in my carousel. You can delete them. So say I change my mind, I can take that and just drag it up to the delete there. I'm not going to, but I'll leave that in. So, right, so now I haven't, generally with all these things, it makes it quite clear to you when you come out of the mode of just crafting your post and arranging it and creating your comments and everything, to the point where you press go. And most apps like Mailchimp is really good, but and Facebook and stuff, you kind of don't accidentally post stuff. There's usually a bit at the end of the process where it says post, and you have to really deliberately post it. So I'm not going to press post because I don't want this demo to go on my actual Instagram. But I am just going to show you some of the options. So this is where you write your caption. So this is the thing that people see under it. Here's the caption. And then tagging people is a really great way to highlight other people. So I can do Soggy Rabbit, let's say. And then what happens is Soggy Rabbit account will get a message to say Gail Reid artist referenced you in a post, and that's really good for engagement, to use other people's, to tag people, not in a spammy way though, so only if it is genuinely relevant. Okay, let's say that's fine. And you can put your location, so you can be general or specific. So if I put Bristol, that's not telling people where I live. It's just saying this is in Bristol, which means that if people are looking, browsing Instagram stuff around the location, your post might come up on their discovery. Okay, so you can see here I could switch to post to Facebook, and then basically from Instagram, when I post this, it would automatically go up to Facebook. Okay, I'm not going to take this any further because I don't want to share it, but hopefully you've got the idea. And I'm also conscious that we've got a lot of other things I wanted to get through. So with your permission, I'm going to rattle through a few things and do some talking rather than demoing, just to get us through some content, but please interrupt with questions. Okay, yeah, taking and editing. Yeah.
A teeny tiny question on the last thing. You said that you can put something on Instagram and copy it over to Facebook just by doing that. Can you do the same way around if you do it on Facebook? Can you copy to Instagram?
I don't think you can, but what you can do is use that Facebook Business Manager.
Oh, right,
so you can, that's like a hub. So from there, you can post to both Facebook and Instagram.
Perfect. Thank you.
I don't know if anyone knows, if anyone you might say, you know, otherwise, but as far as I know, it doesn't tend to drive the other way. Right, taking and editing photos or videos. So it's really, that's really just practice, but there are some things which will really help you get better quality photos. And you know, you can look on YouTube for lots of advice about this sort of thing. Lighting is really important. So the more light you can have, but also being careful about bounced light and stuff like that, and using soft light or natural daylight is really good. So you start, the more photos you take, the more practice you get at spotting a good lighting situation. So if you're in like the evening sun on a beach, that's a really great time to take a selfie, because it's lovely, soft, warm light and quite flattering if you want to look that sort of flattered. To be aware of keeping your lens really clean. So if you're taking photos or videos, give your lens a wipe with some cotton before you go. Like I just like and wipe it, but not with a synthetic thing, with cotton. That will make a huge difference to the focus. So just getting to know your camera and practicing is really, really good. Using a stand. So I've got, I haven't got it here, I meant to bring it in. So you can buy very cheaply, just like, it's like an angle poise light arm that you clip your camera onto, and then you can, and it holds it steady. So if you're recording any videos, I would really recommend you prop your phone up. Don't try and hold your phone and talk to it. It's really so much better if you hold it steady, as you'll see, because I've done a really bad example. Hi, Emily.
Hi, I just wanted to ask a question. I've actually been trying to find a holder because I sketch all the time on my work. So I actually wanted to see that I really, really work a lot on the layouts.
Yes.
And I went to Amazon, whatever, and they had the whole world of options. And then I got confused if I should get one with a light or should I get one without a light. So if you do have a recommendation that you use, maybe you could post it afterwards, because there's just an ambience of
yes,
and also because I'm doing sketching, maybe the light is good, because this light won't work as well, the architectural light.
Well, you also get the whole webcam thing. So here's an example. This is a webcam. I don't know if it's plugged in, and it's not plugged in. So it's like a webcam with a ring light built in. You can go, it's a whole field of, but I will, in fact, just give me 1 second. I'll go and get it. It's in the next room. I can, oh no, it's here. I did have it. Right, here we go. So this is one option. It's got some sort of a clamp like that, and you can put it on chairs and desks and all sorts of things. And then you've got some sort of a clip thing, and it's really adjustable, so you can put your phone or your tablet or anything in that. I much prefer to have the lighting separate. I wouldn't go for built-in lighting, because you don't want your hand to cast a shadow. And if your light is there, so it's really quite a lot better to have the light diagonal, so it doesn't bounce up back into the camera, so the light bounces across the page. And if you're right-handed, put the light on the left. Sorry, put the light and the camera on the left, so that you don't block it with your hand. Yes, Jane. Hi. Sorry, you're mute, don't you?
No, I was just picturing and left and right. It's all good. Yeah, thank you.
All right, okay. But there are also there are lots of other things. So like there are little tripod stuff. So and these are quite handy as well. Where is it? Like this. There's these where they've got bendy feet like that. So you can actually hook them onto things, like, and then screw your device in. So there's all sorts of stuff, and it does depend a bit on what you want it for. Okay.
A consideration as well, though, with the webcam example that you gave, the little round one that you had on the table, is if you've got glasses, if you've got it on the actual webcam, it will reflect, the circle will appear on your glasses.
Yes, I'm not a fan of ring lights, to be honest. Not really. And that one you can turn it off. It's Leon's, he uses it, but yes. Use a stand. Resolution. Okay, so just be aware when you're taking videos, particularly, there's usually a huge choice of how fuzzy or sharp you want it, and the sharper you go, the more file space it takes up, so the bigger the file will be. And then, you know, if you share things, so particularly if you're sharing in WhatsApp, if you share photos in WhatsApp, it does something called compressing them. So we might have a really nice sharp photo, and if you post it on Facebook or WhatsApp, you will lose some of that definition, but generally it's fine. It won't make it, but you know, just to be aware, and to be aware if you're editing video footage on your phone, it can get very big. So if you've got quite, you know, you want to have a compromise between it's enough of a high resolution, and it's just a camera setting that you can set when you take the video. It's enough of a high resolution that it's sharp and it looks good, but not so high that your phone memory just fills up instantly when you try and do your editing. And Framelapse is a really great app. I haven't got that on in the demo, but just to say, you know, that's something, particularly if you're doing something that takes a while, like, I don't know, Emily, if you're doing, you know, or anything where if you're a creative and you're doing a making thing, they can make really good videos. If it's a slow process that takes an hour, you can Framelapse it, and you could. So I would recommend a look at the app Framelapse. Again, it's just a downloadable app that you can run on your phone. So instead of taking footage with your video, you open up the Framelapse app, and you say, I want to compress, and you say 2 hours, say, of work into, and then you say how long you want your video to be, and it'll work out how often to take a photo. You set it up on a stand, and then just get on with your stuff, and then you can edit. I'll show you the editor in a minute, then you can edit that footage.
So question, so Framelapse, so would you record it on Framelapse, or you record it as your video, or you record it on Framelapse? You record it on Framelapse, yes. Oh, okay, yes. Clever. That's a really good tip, because that's what is it film? Okay, if I, because I'm just looking at Framelapse now, is it film R? Oh, Framelapse, doesn't seem to find it, okay.
It should be in the Google Play Store or Apple.
It gives me other editors. That's it. What's the kind of logo on Framelapse?
What type of, are you on Apple?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on Apple too. I think it might be an Android.
Oh, okay. Just find one that lots of people have downloaded. Check that. So if you go onto the Apple Store, there will be loads. Yeah. Sorry, that's probably a bum steer because you've probably all got iPhones.
Oh, I found like Skyflow time-lapse shooting, I suppose that's.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the other thing is stop motion. So if you've got a stand, you can do a stop motion just literally by taking, you put your phone on a stand, and then you can take a photo, move your thing, take another photo, move your thing a bit. So you could do like a pencil going across the page or something like that. And then in the editor, which I'm about to show you, you can just chunk those, put those frames together.
Like a comic strip.
Like stop motion. Yeah.
Oh, great. I didn't know that.
Okay. So phone video editors. I'm going to show you a phone video editor now. I'm just going to quickly look ahead to the other stuff because I'm conscious we are not going to get through this. But I feel as though if we go faster, it's going to be of less value. So is everyone okay with me just going and doing a video editing demo now?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes,
we can.
really
I'd be more than happy to do a second session with the rest of this, because there's a lot more to tell. But I can tell from your questions that you're following, and that
I would love the value of the
the
actual video creating and time lapsing. That'd be really, really beneficial on my part, anyway.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
I'm struggling.
Great. Right. Okay. So I have downloaded you. Can you see this? All right. Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing it. Let me just share that. Right. Okay, here is my, can you see that?
Yes, I can, thanks.
Okay. Here is my pretend phone. And on my pretend phone, I've downloaded YouCut. So there are lots, but I think the two industry standard ones, most people tend to use InShot or YouCut. And they're pretty similar, and whatever you use, they'll be similar. Things like YouTube has an editor within it. Canva has its sort of editing features. You can crop the video and do all sorts of things, but they're not as good, not nearly as good as an actual video editor that you can really use, that's designed for editing videos. So better to take your footage on your phone, and then open it up in a video editor on your phone, edit it there. I'll show you how to add music and add text and stickers and all that sort of thing. And then you can save it on your phone. And then from there, you can upload it to Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And if you upload it to YouTube, which is what I would recommend, you can then share it onto the other platforms from there. So your YouTube can act like a library of video footage. Okay, so let's go in YouCut. And yesterday I just recorded some really, really crap footage just to show you an example. So you've got your, you can see previous projects, and I'm going to start a new project. Okay, so what YouCut does is the first thing it really has to decide is are you trying to do portrait, square, or landscape format? So landscape format is generally for YouTube, but also actually Instagram now, you can post videos in landscape format, which is brilliant. So it means I used to film a lot in vertical format, but I now film more probably in landscape, because as long as it's more than 1 minute long, it's worth filming as a general rule in landscape. If it's less than a minute, I would film it in portrait for a reason that I hope I'll get onto, but to do with, you would then post it in stories, or on YouTube, you'd post it on something called shorts. But assuming you're doing a video that's more than a minute long, you could post it in landscape format. So what YouCut does is it uses the first video that you've recorded. Sorry, the first thing you import into your video as its template for what format you want. So if the first thing I choose here is a square photo, it's going to produce all my video for this session in a square format. So it's just a question of being slightly careful that you start in the format that you want to continue. And I can't actually remember which one's which. So I'm still in YouCut, and it's allowing me to see, there's my photos. So I've got a few photos and a few videos. So I think one of these was portrait format and one of them was landscape. I think this is landscape. So I'm just going to click on that one. So first of all, I'm just going to include this one clip that I made. Yes, and you can see there that that's landscape format because of the thing. So down here, this is how you scrub through your video. like that. You can pinch it. So I'm literally going up to the screen now with my fingers and I'm pinching it so you can make it smaller and bigger. You can, and then you can do all these things. You can trim it. You can actually just click and drag. See, I'm going to cut some off the beginning there. You can split it. So I'm going to use the, you can see my cursor, can't you, I think? Yep. So I'm going to split it here like that. So it's now, it hasn't changed the video, it's just chunked up those two bits. So if I've got on the left bit, that's up to there, that's the first, it tells you 10 seconds. And then this right bit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of crop in. So it's really good when you're editing videos to change the view every few seconds. So not to just have one camera. It's different if you're doing a full yoga video, say, but if you're doing like some engaging content, it's quite good to do this. So here's the crop tool. And I'm going to set it to 16:9, which is the landscape format, which means that my crop will always be the same proportions as the rest of the video. And I'm going to do that, and then you'll see now what happens. So I'm going to say yes. Now I've now got two chunks. This chunk is like that, and then if I drag, so this is what's called the playhead. This vertical line tells you which bit of the video you're looking at on the screen above, up here. So if I whiz through, then it's zoomed in at that point. So if I just play there, I'm just going to play, you'll see it zooms in. Did you see that? You see how I'll do it again? So it went much closer. I could probably do it more actually, and then it's more obvious. Let's do that. Okay, right. So now I'm going to, now you can hopefully see, and I'm going to put a transition on. So you see this, I'm going to stretch that out a bit so we can see. Right, you see this clip thing here in between the two clips. If I click on that, it's offering me loads of transitions. So I can see I could make it move up, move to the side. Sorry about that. Wipe. Let's do a really a noise one. Okay, and you can set how slow you want that transition to be as well. So if I do it now, let's play. So you can see it's gone diagonal because it knows that it's doing some effect as it moves from one clip to the next. So if I play it now, there's the first bit, there's my transition, and there's my cropped in clip. Okay, I'm going to now add in some other things. So I'm going to add in a couple of photos. So just some random stuff. And I'm going to add in another video. Right. Now, if I highlight one of those, it now shows, I just literally held my cursor on one of those videos, one of those clips, sorry, which happened to be a photo. You can drag them around. So I might want to start off with the dog picture or start off with the video. So I'm going to move that video clip to the beginning. Then I'm going to show the dog picture. Then I'm going to show that that nasty scratchy pencil. I'm going to take that one out actually, I think. So I'm going to tick, and you'll see now that it's rearranged those clips. So now I've got the video at the beginning. Okay, is this too fast? Okay, right. So I'm going to just play it now, and you'll see where we've got to. Sorry, don't know what it's doing. Let's get rid of that. That's it. Let's do another video. I don't know. I think that was because I'm doing it on this emulator, this phone emulator. It wasn't doing this before. Should be all right. Okay, there we go. I'm looking at. Right, here's a little point that I meant to mention. Listen to this video. So I'm going to go from the transition before, but listen to what the thing, and if you watch my eyes in the video. Hello there, let me show you how very easy it is to draw a simple pattern. I'm just going to make note that I'm looking at the lens now, and I'm looking at my face now So you can see I need to look at the lens. Does that make sense? So when you're filming or taking selfies, it's really easy to forget and to think you want to engage the viewer by looking at your own eyes on what you can see on your camera. But remember that you need to look at the lens if you want the video to show you looking directly at the viewer.
Thank you. I know I'm guilty of that. Thanks, Gail.
Okay.
Good reminder.
It's really easy to forget. Okay, so let's show you a little bit of trimming and cropping and things. So there will be heaps on YouTube about how to do all sorts of things in all the different apps. So you can crop it like that. You can change, you can add filters. We will do music, text. Let's add a bit of text. So hello. And then when you add text, you can change the color. You can change the color of the label. So let's make that label pink like that. You can change the text. You can change the font. You can animate it. So you can make it slide in. You can change the speed of that. And then what you've got is it adds an extra layer in the video. So those blue ones, those are text. So I can drag that, hopefully. My computer's gone a bit. So you can drag it through the video to different places and you can stretch it. So now if I scrub through, at the start, you've got the dog. I don't know why that's not showing. Sorry. Yeah. Then you've got your. Yeah. Sorry about that. I'm gonna cut the volume out on that one. So I've highlighted the clip where I've got that nasty volume. There's the volume. I'm going to turn it right down because we're going to put some music on anyway. If I click this here, that means I want to do that to all the clips, and it does that for all sorts of things, like with filters. So if you see that double click there as an option, if I press apply to all, that means it will cut the video volume off all the video in everything that I'm working on. So I'm not going to do that. I'll just do it on this one. Okay, so now I will also change the duration of this. So this is actually just a picture. So I'm going to click duration. At the moment, it's 4 seconds. So I'm just going to slide that down to 1 second so it doesn't take so long. I'm going to make this a bit shorter as well. And I'm going to make this shorter. And I'm going to speed this video up. So if I do speed, so you can make it really slow. So you can go down, that's half speed. Like that, or really quick. I could do it super quick. Okay, so let's do it like that. So that's going to be really quick, and I'm going to change the volume on that one as well because I hate that scratchy sound. Okay, right, now let's see what we've got now. I'm going to play this video. There's my effect. It is to draw a simple pattern. I know that looks out of sync. That's just because I'm showing you on the computer, but if you were running it on your phone, it would be fine. It's just the emulating software. So there's my text. And of course, I can adjust the location of the text. There's all sorts of things to play around with. You can adjust the size. You can add in lots of stickers. So where's some stickers? Yeah, you can rotate the footage. You can copy and paste your clips. You can, I don't know if you've seen, when I click, the menu changes. So on this clip here, when I click with my mouse, I get a different set of options. So it's like there are 2 lots of options, and you click to toggle on the other set. So if I click here, it's offering me effects, filters, stickers. You might like stickers. you can look for GIFs and stickers and things like that. You get many more if you do it on your phone. It's kind of easier, and I won't waste your time doing it, but you can get some really nice effects on that.
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course, yes.
So with the volume control, if you had a piece of footage, I'm guessing this isn't going to apply to yoga teachers here, but if you had a piece of footage which had a lot of background noise in a part of the video, would you be able to just reduce the volume for that part of the video?
Yes.
So that it kind of
so what you would do in that situation, if I expand this, say this was a video like that, you can, if this section here on the right had the noise, you can split the video, and then you can adjust the volume on this section, like that.
Okay.
So then the video is continuous, but the volume will drop if I run it now. Easy it is to draw a simple. I don't know if you can hear that. That sort of went a bit quieter. That's what you would do. Does that make sense, Angela?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, that is really helpful video when you have an ambulance going past or a dog trying to get in your room.
Yes.
All right, okay.
You sometimes get odd things. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I would very much say the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the two more things I want to show you, and then we could call it a day there. Is to do with volume and microphones and stuff. So often it's better, unless you're talking to camera, it's better to have it set all the volume down and record your audio separately. It's much easier if you're doing a demo of anything to film the demo and then do the voiceover afterwards. So there are several ways you can do that. But in YouCut, you have the record button. So sometimes what I do is I've got a bit of talking, and then I've got something where I want to actually just talk over it. So say I've got these pictures which have got no volume on them at all. There's no audio to go with them, whereas this video section has got audio with it. So I can press the record button. I don't know if this is going to work on the emulator. Oh yeah, okay, right. So then I press record and talk. Let's see if this works. Okay, so I'm pressing record, and now I'm recording the video for, and here's a lovely parcel. Right, so I've pressed off now. You can delete it, you can crop it, but I'm just going to tick that. So now you can see this is saved as a separate bit of audio, and if I play that back now, it works as a voiceover. And now I'm recording. Sorry about the strobe. And here's a lovely parcel. That's strobing. I'm really sorry. I will take that clip out so it doesn't happen again. But it doesn't. I've never seen that happen when you're actually using the app on a phone. I think it's just this emulator because I've got it pretending to be a phone on my PC so that I can share it with you. But okay. So then I want to show you music. So I'm going to share a different bit of my screen, which is, right, new share. Right. I think you can probably see my browser now. Am I right? Can you see it? Okay. So if you look at YouTube Audio Library, so if you do a search for YouTube Audio Library, this is a source of basically free music that you can use that's without needing to license it. You can use it anywhere. There are other sources, but this is quite a good one for starting with. And so if you go into YouTube Audio Library, you can choose audio, and you can filter it. So you can filter it by attribution not required, which means you don't even need to credit the artists. So it only shows you ones where attribution is not required. You can, so if I filter it by, say, jazz and blues, and you can choose, you can sort it by different things. But so then say I wanted some backing music, let's try this. Okay, so I'm going to use that one. So you can download it, press download on your and I don't know if you can see, it's now downloading an MP3 file. So basically what I've now got is some audio that I can use as a backing track for my video, if that makes sense. So you can get your music from all sorts of places, and I think I downloaded some onto this fake phone here. Right, so what I'm going to do is then press music to add in the music, and then you've got sorry.
Just a quick question, similar to Jane's question earlier, but where would it likely save an audio file?
It will be probably in downloads.
Downloads, okay.
On your phone. So if you look in your folders on your phone, it's not always obvious, but apps that use audio can generally find it. So I did that on here, and in my music, I did the same thing, but I downloaded the Busy City track from YouTube Audio. So and it would be the same in InShot as YouCut. It offers you some music. So they've got some music of their own. What you don't want is copyright strikes or your videos to be taken down if you post them on YouTube and or Instagram and stuff. So they've all got kind of listening software that picks up if you use copyrighted music. So my first advice would be probably if you use YouTube Audio Library, there's loads in there, you should have enough for what you need. And if not, I recommend Epidemic Sounds. That's what I use. So I have a paid subscription to Epidemic Sounds where you can get lots more, but you can also buy one-off tracks from somewhere like Epidemic Sounds. Okay, so I'm going to use my music. They've got effects, so you could have like an airplane effect or like this. There. So if you know, it can be quite funny. You can put applause in your videos, and you can mix and match it. You can put all these things in. So I'm going to go to my music, local music. So basically what that's doing is it's looking at the folder on this phone and taking and looking for any music that's on that in there, and it's found this one that I downloaded, so I can check it sounds nice. Okay, and I'm going to press use. So it's loaded that into my video. So I've got the music and I've got my audio, and I can, let's play that. Let me show you how very easy it is. Okay, so that was quite nice, but when I started talking, the music was a bit loud. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the music here, go to the place where I want it to go down, just like we did before with the volume, split it, and then in this section, so make sure I've got that section selected, I'm going to look at the volume and I'm going to turn the volume right down so that I can hear the voice. So now let's just go from there. Let me show you how very easy it is to draw a simple pattern. I don't know if that was, does that look doable? And then you can also fade it because that was quite clunky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I think it'll drag, don't know, it might be my computer's a bit slow. Right, this is something you can do this if you're doing it on a phone. I could drag this little clip of music, the louder one, up onto the next level, and then I can extend it slightly to overlap this one, but it's not letting me do it, which is annoying. But what I would then do is I would overlap them slightly, so I would stretch this one like that, drag it and stretch it. Don't know if that's making sense, but then I would fade it. So basically what I wanted to show you is I will fade it out. So with music you can do this. can you, I don't know if you can see that curve it's putting on. So you can say, I want this to fade out and it'll. So I don't know if that sounds better, but let's watch it. Hello there. Let me show you how very easy it is to draw a simple pattern. I'm just going to make note that I'm looking at the lens now. So I'm pressing record, and now I'm recording the video. Okay, so the video stops at this point. So when the video stops, the thing stops and it ignores anything after that. So last step is to save it and then upload it. So I'll save it. It gives you a choice of resolution and it tells you how big it's going to be. And you can change your frame rate and your quality and stuff. YouCut, like InShot and other things, this is free, and therefore it shows me videos as a penalty for not having a paid account. So once I can close it, I will.
Picking brains from Alistair.
Okay, so it's now converting the video and we can chat while it does that. But after, so once it's finished converting the video, I will have on my phone an MP4, like another video file in one of my galleries or albums with that clip that I can then share onto. I can upload it to YouTube. I could upload it to, I could share it on Facebook. But I would really recommend uploading it to YouTube if you can. So we've got 3 more minutes in which, when we've talked, I might, if it finishes this, I might try and just upload it just to show you, not even finished, but to show you how easy it is to upload it to YouTube. Do you want to ask any questions?
Oh, it's all really helpful, Gail. I didn't realise how very clever you are, because I feel like I'm floundering there. No, I think I was okay. I wanted to ask about music, but that's just about my thing. I think because I don't record mine with music, do I? But give them a link to Spotify. That's okay, is it? On the website, I'm allowed to do that.
I think you are allowed to share a link to your Spotify playlist. Yeah. I think so. Yeah, I think if you, I don't think you're possibly allowed to download a track from Spotify and then use that as backing on one of your videos and then share it as a video. I think that probably crosses the copyright boundary.
And sorry, it's personal, but then people can then play their own music if they'd rather instead of it. So I'm okay sticking with that. Do you think?
Yes. Yeah. But it's always best not to use ambient music for a recording. So if you're, you know, I wouldn't use a microphone to or like a speaker, play background music and talk at the same time as a way of having your audio. It's much better to put it in an editor and add the audio as a separate track. You'll get much better, less interference and stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Gail, I might disappear very quickly because I've got another meeting that I need to go to.
Sure.
Back-to-back meetings today.
Oh,
but yeah, but it's been great, and I will catch up with any other bits. All right. Okay.
Okay. I've got another 15 minutes, so I can hang around if anyone wants. But Ginny, let me know. I will ask on the group. There's at least the same amount again that we could go on, you know, but you might find this has been enough. You know, I understand saturation. But I will show you that YouTube upload in a minute.
Take care. Nice to see you.
I mean, I had just a quick question. It's actually not related to this. I mean, I've tried different video editing, but I'm finding on TikTok it can't take my voice. It just doesn't recognize it when I do my TikTok videos.
Oh, for captions?
Yeah. It just doesn't do it, and I'm not sure if it's actually my phone. I just can't record them.
So do you mean?
So if I'm talking, I'll do, like, I don't know, I have a video and I'm talking, and then I'll add the captions. They say, the captions, it doesn't recognize my voice. You can't hear my voice, or you can't. First of all, I can't hear my voice, and then I can't hear it in captions.
Oh, I don't have much experience of TikTok, but so you can actually hear the voice when it plays. It's just it won't generate.
No, it doesn't hear very well at all. It's quite badly. It's not very good, the sound at all.
And is it all right in other apps?
That's a good question. I need to try that actually to see if it works on other apps.
Yeah.
Because I also noticed that I was doing TikTok videos on other editors, and then it just didn't work very well. And actually, I found also it didn't get as much kudos. So once I did the TikTok video, it was straight away, it was being viewed. And when I did it on another video editor, TikTok didn't recognize it.
Yeah, that's the stuff we haven't got time to do that, unfortunately, but there is a lot about trends and things like that. Might be worth getting one of these, Emilie, just like they're really cheap, like a clip-on mic, and then it just literally has that, and you can plug that into your phone.
Oh, great. If you can just send me your tripod and that microphone as a link.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, it's just called a lavalier mic, and that will get much better quality audio. Yeah. Right. Can I show you that YouTube upload very briefly? If you have to go, just go. But at least it means it's on the recording if anyone wants to then, because I think we are recording this, aren't we, Jane? I think. Hope so. Okay.
Yes,
so
it's recording, Gail.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so here we are, saved. So this is what you get at the end. So I can now play the video. Hello there. Let me show you how very easy it is. Okay, so now I will go to, so I could just share, why don't I just share it directly? Normally I would, actually I'm going to go back on my screen and go into YouTube. So I've got, there's two bits of YouTube. There's YouTube itself and YouTube Studio. You generally don't need to worry about YouTube Studio. So I'm just going to go onto my channel. No. How do I add in? Oh, I really wanted to show you. Why don't can I just show you on the I'll show you on my desktop, but using another video, and won't do it very long. It just completes the demo, because it's no use having a video on your phone. Can you see my screen now? Can you see my? Okay.
Yes, all good. All good.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for bearing with me. Right. So when you're in YouTube, you'll get whether you're here. So there's my create. So that's how I can upload videos. Or if I'm on my channel like this, I've just got a create button, and it's the same on your phone if you're running it on a phone. I don't know why it's just so upload video. Don't hit go live unless you're feeling really boisterous. Upload the video, and then it invites you to upload the file. So you can pick the file from your list. Let's see if I've got something that I can share. What's this? Okay, here's a short clip. Open. So it's now uploading that video, a video file, to YouTube. And what you can do then is you can put in a title. Hello world. You can put your description. YouTube will, as it uploads, it will offer you the cover. This should be really quick because it's only 14. Process, so it goes into processing. So that's when it's just thinking about it for a bit. But if we hold on 1 second. So you've seen on YouTube videos, you've seen they've got like a thumbnail or a cover on the front of them. And then when you share it in Facebook, or when you share it in your newsletter, if you share that URL, then usually, and often in WhatsApp as well, it will scrape the cover off the YouTube video and put that on your share. So when Jay and I share your videos off YouTube onto the WhatsApp group, I think they've generally got a cover. I hope. I think they have and it's this is the cover that they put on. So there's my clip. YouTube will, when it's had a chance to process it, so probably not while we're waiting, it will show some suggested covers that you can use, but you can also upload a cover. So you can also upload thumbnail, and this is where it ties back to Canva. So thank you so much for bearing with me, but you can then already have downloaded a cover for your video. So like there's one that I made. Here's one I prepared earlier in Canva using the video cover template. So if I open that, now YouTube has uploaded my video clip, which you can do from your phone, and then it's given it that thumbnail. I hope this makes sense. So if I do that, next, next. Okay, I'm going to make it unlisted, so no one except us can see it, but we could share it. Private, yeah, you just it's almost unusable. And public is any subscribers should get a little message to say you've posted a new video. So if I save that now, I can now share the video, and there's the URL for that video. So if I copy that URL, I can paste it into anything else, like I can paste it onto my Facebook page. So if I go onto Facebook, this is the last 20 seconds, you can time me. Okay, so here I am, create a post. I copied the URL. Hopefully this will work. And then if I put that in, and then it should scrape, there we are. So it scraped the thumbnail off the YouTube video. And if I press post, that will be posted on my Facebook page. Okay. Here endeth the lesson. Thank you so much for watching. I am hugely indebted to Angela, Jane, Ginny and Emily. Have a look in the description below and you'll see links to each of their businesses, and please leave me a comment if you find this useful. Share it with friends. It's just intended to go out there, and just remember, you won't get it right first time. Look at me, I didn't in those demos. It's just a question of not giving up. Go and have a cup of tea, or ask a friend, or look it up on YouTube, and you will get there. It's not rocket science, and as Chris Tarrant used to say, it's easy when you know the answer. Have fun. See you on social media.